Hi, Arushi.
Hi,
Hello, everyone.
hello everyone. So today we're going to be talking about sex and intimacy, which is a very, very crucial point in relationships.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I know it is a big, big taboo in many,
Arushi.
many countries around the world, and sometimes these discussions can be a little uncomfortable for a lot of people. So I would like to appreciate all our viewers for joining in and all those people who sent us the queries in a very short span of time, actually. Some of the queries are very recent, and some of them have been waiting for 2, 3 weeks now to just get the answers and get a bit of head sorted in regarding these topics.
Wow.
And thank you so much, Meetu, for joining us and for um, coming forward to discuss this with me. I know these discussions have taken a huge turn from our calls to an actual YouTube live.
Yeah, true, true
To
that.
Here's to breaking all the taboo around sex. And how are you excited to talk about it? Are you
I
nervous?
am. I am. Initially, I was a little nervous talking about it, but then I realized, so many people are struggling with issues around sex and intimacy. I was
Yeah,
like, oh my God, this really needs to be talked about in a very open manner because
yeah,
it's a crucial aspect, like you mentioned, for relationships.
yeah. Including the ones where people are asexual or they have different preferences and stuff. And sometimes these things can act as a barrier when you don't know how to walk around such stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to be diving straight to the questions and cutting the chase.
So
So,
let's get started.
yeah. So the first query that we have for today is how much sex is too much sex in a relationship? And this is from somebody that I know very closely. People feel so judged when one partner has more sexual needs than the other. So this is based on that. What do you have to say about it?
Um, I would say it's a very personal preference,
Mhm.
and there's no such thing as too much or too little. It's just where you are, and somebody who may have, a very high sex drive, they may go through periods in life where they may have a low sex drive because maybe they're busy somewhere, they're involved somewhere else, they're
Yeah.
going through something else in life. So,
Yeah.
just judging a person based on their sex drive is like, judging somebody just on the fact that, they're wearing, let's say, a yellow shirt today.
That's a very precise example, actually.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just one aspect of your whole being, and we all go through different, different kinds of drives, and sometimes we are on a high, sometimes we're on a low, and that's perfectly normal. And I think if one partner is having a high sex drive and as compared to the other partner, I think a good thing to do is just get down and talk about it
Mm,
and see what can be done about it, instead of kind of silently judging and making assumptions. Because, this is a really important thing in relationships.
yeah,
We have to stop assuming.
we
We
do.
have to stop making assumptions about what this could mean or what that could mean or what this behavior means, what that look means. And we have to just go ahead and ask the person, and just what does this mean?
Yeah. But you know what, Meetu, this brings me to a very similar tangent where not every time everybody is comfortable talking about what they want. So
Yeah.
sometimes it can be difficult. I understand that we have to because, the other person is not a mind reader and we cannot even expect that because that's unreal. But like, so sometimes people are hesitant and sometimes you don't know how to communicate. Even if you want to, you don't know the words or you don't know whether this person is going to take it properly or not. And like you're just scared that this might be judged too harshly and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that is something that is understandable. Which brings us to our next question. There's this person who said, I have a problem communicating my sexual needs with my partner, especially during sex. How do I do that?
So one of the things is, if you cannot communicate during sex, please communicate after it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, let's have a discussion about sex. It could be
Yeah.
a very casual discussion, like, what did you have to eat today? And this is what I felt, and this was what I was going through. I want to work it out with you. Let's work
Yeah.
through it. And just doing it more casually rather than making a big taboo or big deal out of it.
Yeah.
And the other person, your partner, will not always know whether you're feeling comfortable or not.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to tell them so that they can also feel, like they can also do something about it.
Mm.
Sometimes the thought is, if I say this, they will
Yeah.
judge me, or it'll be awkward, or what, for whatever reason. But
Yeah.
most of the times, the truth and the reality is, if you actually say it, the other person becomes more readily available to do something about it.
Yeah. True. So let's say, based on this, I have a personal question which is coming to my mind right now. Let's say the person is not able to communicate during sex, right? And they communicated after sex. But let's say there comes a time when you have to communicate during sex. Something is painful or something doesn't feel right, and you're not able to, because your natural response is not to fight or flight, but to freeze.
Hmm.
What should that person do in that situation?
Um, I think one of the things that's really important in that case is you have to work on your freeze response.
Yeah.
That's outside of the sexual act. You need to work on your freeze response so that you're able to communicate your need. You're able to communicate whether it's painful or whether it's uncomfortable, because if it's painful or uncomfortable, it's not pleasure. And I'm
I
talking in the context of your question.
I mean, not necessarily.
So let's say if it's painful for you and you don't want it, it's
Yeah,
better to communicate, because if it keeps happening and the other person doesn't realize it,
yeah,
later on it can be even more complicated sometimes, because if you say, this is painful, they might just feel guilty about it. They
true.
might feel bad that you had to go through that,
Yeah,
and it might create more stuff to work on later.
yeah,
So if you're unable to communicate what's happening in that moment, um, let me put it this way. Um, if you cannot speak up for what you're feeling in that moment, and this is regardless of the situation you are in,
yeah.
it means there is some trauma related to speaking up for discomfort in your life.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way.
And so, when you can actually work with a therapist and heal
Yeah,
that problem of not being able to communicate your pain will also leave, and you'll be able to tell your partner, this is what I'm feeling, or this is painful, or this is
yeah.
uncomfortable and I don't want this, and it's going to be much more natural and easy.
That would make life easier for sure.
So it's um everything that shows up during the sexual act
Yeah,
is a direct reflection of what's really happening in your mind and body.
interesting. So, are you trying to say that sex is not really external?
It's absolutely not external.
But it feels like it's an external act, like it's a physical external act. I mean, it's not
If it
completely
was
physical. Yeah.
if it was an external physical act, everybody would do it in the same way,
Mm.
and everybody would feel the same doing it. Let's say lifting weights in the gym. Everybody feels the same pain, everybody does the same process, but sex is not that.
Trigger warning, guys. So sorry. Oh my God. You're gonna start a riot someday, I'm telling you. Um, so we're not saying that weightlifting is wrong. And we're not saying that weightlifting doesn't get you results. It's just a different experience for different people.
There's nothing about weightlifting being wrong. It's just that that is something external which is affecting the internal body.
Yeah.
Sex is something external as well as internal.
Yeah.
Your mindset will determine how you do it,
Yeah.
and your mindset will also determine how you feel internally while doing it.
Mm-hmm. True. That's very true.
And it's actually a fact. Sex is in the mind.
Hmm.
The pleasure is in the mind.
It would be interesting to see if you could demonstrate that with an example or something like that. You remember the alcoholic example that you gave us in the other
Yes.
episode?
So,
Yeah.
women,
Mm-hmm.
um, for women, it's really important to relax in order to have pleasure, get pleasure out of sex.
Hmm.
For them, it's more about the mind and the mind being turned on and the mind feeling safe, the body feeling comfortable when the mind is relaxed. And
Yeah.
that is when for them sex is more enjoyable.
Mm.
For men, um, it could be the other way around. For them, sex is the way to relaxation.
Hmm.
And this is the reason why women need more foreplay.
I'm starting to learn a lot about myself for sure. Let's put it that way.
So it's
Um,
actually in the mind. So if you're not comfortable
yeah.
mentally about it, chances are you won't be comfortable physically about it.
That actually puts a lot of my experiences into perspective. Do you know that? I just somehow realized that no matter how much you want to have pleasure, if there's a certain block, like you're not able to have pleasure, that means there's something wrong with the connection,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And
Hmm.
even with a man, if let's say, anybody, a man or a woman, if they are going through certain difficult situations in life, certain really stressful situations,
Yeah.
then sex may not be as pleasurable.
Hmm. Well, I am forgiving a lot of people right now mentally, in case you were not able to make that out. Um, that's very you've actually put a lot of things in perspective, so I'm just kind of still processing.
Yeah.
It's like a flashback of so many episodes. Hmm. Okay. Moving on to the next query while I still process this, and our viewers need also a little bit of time to digest this information. The next query is by someone, and they're saying it started out really great, but suddenly halfway through it, I just lost interest in the act. I'm
Hmm.
confused about what happened. Is this normal? It definitely doesn't happen to me often. So, what do you think could have happened?
Um, Sex is great when there's rapport and connection between the partners.
Yeah.
But let's say the rapport breaks,
Hmm.
maybe because the pace is becomes different for both the partners. One partner wants one thing, the other wants another thing, or and suddenly the pace differs, the
Yeah.
connection breaks, the rapport breaks.
Yeah.
And that's when this thing happens, suddenly there's a turn off.
Hmm. Interesting.
Because, like I said, it's
Yeah.
not just external, it's not just the bodies, it's the energies, the mind, and everything happening right there. It's a very intimate thing, and intimate means the whole of your being is involved, not just your body.
Me too. A very sidebar question on this.
Yeah,
So when the rapport actually breaks, let's say, and is it possible that suddenly you don't want to have it all together?
yes, it is
And,
possible.
and could it be, sorry guys, if you're listening and you are offended by this, but could it be also possible that that is one of the reasons why women or anyone in particular has to fake an orgasm just to get done with it because they don't want to do it anymore?
Yes, yes. That is also one of the reasons why a lot of people, and I'm not just saying women, but
Yeah,
mostly they fake orgasms
yeah.
because the rapport is no longer there. It's like, okay, let's just get done with it.
Hmm. Interesting. I want to say so much, but there'll be lots of sidebars now. Um, okay. That's good to know. A few years later, but that's good to know. Um, moving on to our next query for the day.
Yeah.
Somebody said, I don't enjoy sex as much as cuddling and hugging my partner. Who is this? I want to meet them. But that doesn't feel right because it looks like she's frustrated by that a lot of times. What should I do?
Okay, so we want to understand this more in terms of um, fulfillment of needs, the core human needs. Again,
Hmm.
I'm not talking about money, sex, and food,
Okay.
talking about needs of affection and attention and love.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So, somebody as a child, if they have not received enough physical affection from their caregivers,
Yeah.
they are likely to seek it in the form of having sex with their partners.
Oh.
And that is why they might enjoy cuddling more than the actual act.
Hmm.
Or maybe they're not receiving enough cuddling or enough touch outside of the sexual act.
Hmm.
So this is a conversation. Actually, before a conversation, they need to sit down with themselves and contemplate. What's my real need for the cuddle and the hug and the physical intimacy more than the sex. What's the reason I want that? And sometimes they may have to kind of unpack it and heal it with their therapists. And then,
Yeah.
it will be once they've understood and kind of started healing it and or healed it, it's time to for them to have a conversation with their partner.
Yeah.
But I would like this too. Let's do this also more.
Oh.
It does not mean you stop having sex or you stop cuddling. It also just means that, this is also what I like. And
Yeah.
let's do this more.
Yeah.
And um, you know, like you mentioned in the last YouTube live we did, it was also about boundaries because the person who likes to cuddle more, but they're not receiving cuddling and they're, participating in the sex more because the partner wants that, or that
Yeah.
is the only time they receive cuddling, they're probably not really respecting their boundaries and
Yeah.
they're expecting the other person, they're indulging in a give and take.
Yeah.
I'm giving you this and I'm receiving this.
Transaction.
It's more of a transaction for them then.
Yeah.
And those two people might be deeply in love, but
Yeah.
this transaction will actually stop them from experiencing real intimacy with each other. So it's a good thing to really understand what's the reason this is happening with me.
Yeah.
And let your partner know, I need this too.
Yeah.
Before, after, or other times, I need this too. And this really makes me feel, let's say, comforted, or
Yeah.
let's say needed, or maybe loved.
Yeah.
So let's do this too.
Yeah.
So usually when somebody wants more of cuddling, but they're not doing that and just doing sex, um, they're not really understanding that they are, how do I put this?
They are important too, that they matter.
Yeah, they're giving more importance to the other person's needs rather than their own needs. So it's time, whoever has asked this question, whoever has this question, please give your needs some importance too and work on them and work on fulfilling them in a way that's respectful and healthy for yourself and your partner.
Yeah. It's very interesting, Neetu, that in this query we see that this is a guy asking this question
Mm.
because I know them personally as well. And um, it's very important. Like, this is something that has been pointed out here, and I would like to address a little bit that
Yeah,
oftentimes we say that for women, it's more emotional because women in general are emotional because they're expressive and this and that. And men are not because men are supposed to be tough and you get the gist.
yeah,
But my point is, this is very important that this person has pointed out that their partner wants more sex because maybe they're like opposite. Like,
mm,
the woman in this relationship needs more sex to, I don't know, kind of relax or chill or just to feel that intimacy or that connection with their partner. Whereas this person feels more connected through physical touch. Like, that could be their love language.
yeah.
And I've not come across many men who are like that. I'm talking
Mm.
about straight men here because I have had such experiences, but it's not often that we like, or at least I have come across such. Um,
Yeah.
episodes. So, what do you have to say about that?
I think a lot of men do not express that need very openly because they are supposed to be those burly, strong men.
Yeah,
But I think a lot of men have that need.
yeah,
And by not expressing it, um, you know, they are repressing a part of themselves which is actually so loving,
yeah,
which can actually give back so much love.
yeah,
So I don't think it's just women who feel that. I think it's also men who
yeah,
have this need to be cuddled, to be loved, to be, touched in a, let's say, non-sensual way.
yeah. Very important to put it that way. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And, because non-sensual touch is very healing.
it is.
Touch is very healing, and non-sensual touch is so important. It's, it's interesting. I read this in a study. When a child was born, the child was given everything, the food and water and all things that are needed to sustain, but the child was not given touch.
Yeah.
The child did not develop.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of, the vital signs of the child kept deteriorating.
Oh,
So no matter how much food and water and sustenance you get, if you don't receive the loving touch, um, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna, uh, become happy. You're not gonna feel good. This
mm.
is the reason the non-sensual touch is so important, and that is what cuddling and hugs actually give you.
Meetu, I have a personal question. Sorry, a
Yeah.
very short sidebar again. So, could it be possible that somebody is seeking physical touch despite the sex because they're just very used to it? Like, that's something could, like, the reason behind this seeking physical touch could be something that other than being deprived of it when they were kids. Like, could it be something else as well? Is there a possibility?
Um, okay, seeking physical touch, non-sensual touch, it does not mean that you have trauma in your life.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
But if you are seeking non-sensual touch, if you're seeking a hug, or let's say if you're seeking another person to pay attention to you, without which you feel like I don't belong and all those negative triggers start coming up, that
yeah.
is trauma.
Ah,
So it's like if you have to have it, and if you don't have it, something starts happening inside. You start feeling uncomfortable, awkward, anxious, or any of those feelings.
yeah.
That means there is trauma underneath.
Mm.
But wanting physical touch is not wrong. It's very natural.
Oh, of course. Never said Um, ah, I think I'm starting to kind of let go of a little bit of judgment there where I used to have towards a certain people who are still a part of my life or who are coming and going in my life. But um, thank you for putting it that way. Because a lot of times you like to, not you, but like anybody or everybody likes to put people in boxes. Like,
Hmm.
okay, this person is this and only this.
Hmm.
So talking about these things is actually me like letting me open those boxes and letting them free in my mind that this can be anything or anyone.
Yeah,
um
because like I said, assuming a person, you saw a behavior and you thought this is what that person is, like
yeah.
yellow shirt, this person is yellow. That's like saying this person has only one aspect, whereas no person has just one aspect. Look at yourself, look at ourselves. We are different people with different situations and different people in our life. We are different with everyone,
Yeah,
and we are different in different aspects of our life.
yeah,
So we are such multidimensional beings. So it's not really kind, or it's not needed to box a person or to label a person based on one or two criterias.
yeah, true. So, unfortunately, we have to just like we have time for just one more query because this is a little bit bigger than the usual ones. Um, the last one for the day is this person says, I feel like the more sex we have, the more likely it is that my partner will lose interest in me. Is that true? I'm hesitant to always give in when my partner is asking for it.
Hmm.
Also, as we grow old, I'm scared we lose interest because I've heard old couples don't have sex.
Oh, okay. Um, we just don't see a lot of old couples having sex, that's all.
if,
But that
if
doesn't mean it's
any of
not.
the viewers are like that, we'd like you to just drop a comment that that is not true. We don't want to know more if you don't want to reveal anything more.
Okay,
Yeah,
so saying that if I give a lot of sex, the person will lose interest in me inherently means that the only value you add to that person's life is through sex,
yeah,
which is a way of saying that this relationship, whatever that is, it's just based on the ability to have sex.
yeah,
If you're having sex, you're useful. If you're not having sex, you're not needed in the relationship. And that's saying something. So if that is the thought you have, now I'm not saying it's wrong. If that is the thought that keeps coming up for you in a relationship, you really want to start looking into yourself and understanding that, are you just the the one providing sex? Is there no other value that you add? And don't you have needs besides sex? What needs are, what which of your needs are being fulfilled or not in that relationship? Because
yeah,
let's face it, a relationship is not just sex.
yeah.
So if you are withholding sex thinking that the person will lose interest in me, I think it's better you just walk away from that.
Yeah, true.
Because if a relationship is based on sex, then probably it's not a relationship.
Interestingly, Neetu, when I was a teenager, like a lot of my friends, a lot of people around me used to think that women should not give in to sex too soon and they should withhold it because it's a sacred act and we should only do it with one person and stuff like I was surrounded with such people.
Mhm.
So why do you think this exists in the first place?
So that will take us to a huge discussion of how, because of, and I'm going to use this word, how patriarchy actually brought in the concept of,
Yeah,
virgins. And, the whole concept was that if a woman had sex with other people, then the bloodlines would be, messed up, or family's name and stuff. And the thing is, in the ancient times, and I'm talking about, let's say, Mahabharat,
yeah,
Draupadi was married to five husbands, five
yeah,
men.
yeah,
Okay. So it's not really something that, you have to preserve yourself for somebody. And I'm not saying, okay, go out and start having sex with everyone. I'm absolutely not saying that.
yeah,
uh, Saying that I'm not gonna have sex because I'm preserving myself for my husband, great. If that's what you want, That's your choice.
Yeah.
But it's not that, that is how it should be,
Yeah.
because there are no norms. The norms were made by people who wanted to have very clear bloodlines, because it suddenly we were going from a tribal civilization to an agrarian economy, agricultural economy, where
Yeah.
somebody who owned land had power, and they wanted to pass on that piece of land to their own
Yeah.
children. So that is the reason, women had to be pure, they had to be virginal, and all those things came into being.
Mm.
So it was purely because of the shift to the agricultural economy this thing came in. Now
Mm.
there's another aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
Energetically, when you are having sex with someone, your cords get attached, and very strong, at a very stronger level, at the root chakra level. And I know I'm bringing in the chakras here. For
Yeah.
those who are unaware, there are 7 chakras in the body,
Yeah.
and the root chakra is at the base chakra, which is our foundation, the Mooladhar. So our cords get really attached when we are having sex. The energies intermingle, they get connected. It's more difficult to disconnect that energy.
Yeah.
This is the reason we say, it is said, don't have sex with too many people, or don't have sex randomly with everyone.
Yeah.
Think of who you are exchanging your energy with.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. But then again, it's a guideline, it's not a norm.
Yeah.
You really have to listen to your body.
Yeah.
You have to listen to what feels right for you.
Yeah.
If, and let's put all these norms on the side. If having sex with one person feels right, great. If it doesn't feel right, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And if there's a peer pressure around not having sex or having sex, I think that's something unhealthy that we are giving into these days,
True.
especially the teenagers today.
Yeah.
Uh, Sex is something that's, I would, I am going to use this word. It is sacred because you are exchanging your energies in the most intimate manner.
True.
If you don't like someone, if you like, it's just time pass. So you're kind of saying, you're telling the universe, my energies don't matter. I can just give them away.
Yeah.
So the only thing is, if it feels right for you from the inside, go ahead. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, don't have to do it. Don't give in to peer pressure.
So do it or don't do it, but just whenever you feel like doing
Whenever
it.
you feel comfortable, you feel it's right, you feel you you want to do it,
Yeah.
not because you have to do it.
Yeah.
That's a very important distinction we need to have,
True.
whether you are married or not.
Yeah. And I think we are closing in on the consent aspect of this. We're like
Yes.
very, very close, but we've not quite talked about it. But a lot of times, and I know we don't have much time left for this
Hmm.
discussion, but we're just gonna briefly mention it here that including in a marital relationship, I've heard a lot many times that a lot of people, I'm not saying women or men or whosoever, it could be a
Hmm.
same sex marriage as well, but the
Yeah.
partner, one of the partners doesn't want to have sex that frequently and stuff, and they cannot vocalize it thinking XYZ, that maybe they will be judged or maybe their partner will not be happy about it or whatever. And they're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And
Hmm.
sometimes there is a certain lack of consent involved.
Yeah.
And especially in India. Now, I know, again, it might touch a few nerves here and there, but marital rape is not legal yet. So,
It's
because
not
of this, and
illegal.
sorry,
It's not illegal yet.
in the sense that it's not mentioned anywhere in the law, is what I meant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
So,
It's not illegal yet. It's
it's
not a
not illegal yet. Yes. It's not
Yeah.
illegal yet, which
Yeah.
is so sad because that just means that a married woman or a guy, let's say, I don't want to, um, pick a specific gender, but oftentimes it's seen it's the woman.
Yeah.
They don't have the choice of
Yeah.
giving their consent, and which is very, very sad to know.
Yeah.
I was actually having this discussion with a friend this morning in my house, and the person also felt really sad. He's like, no matter what, go don't go back. Okay, stay here. This is your place now. You should feel safe first. And I was like, oh, that is so touching, you know.
Yeah. You
What do you
know,
have to say about that? Yeah,
yeah, you know, in a married relationship, or let's just say, I will not even talk about marriage. Let's say in a relationship,
yeah,
if both the partners don't have a choice
yeah,
to say yes or no,
yeah.
it's not an equal relationship.
Hmm.
And when it's not an equal relationship, it is not a healthy relationship.
Yeah, because there's a power game involved.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's a power game, there's a status game. I'm above you, you're below me, and
not in a healthy way.
yeah. So, if it's not healthy, then you really want to start looking at what's the reason it's not healthy.
Yeah,
And before you blame your partner,
yeah.
look into yourself. Where are you contributing to its being unhealthy?
Hmm.
And I know it will hit a lot of nerves right now
Yeah,
because people are like, I am not making it unhealthy. My partner is. But
yeah,
then, you know what? You are also there.
yeah,
You're also choosing to be there. And when people say, I don't have a choice to get out of this, I believe that's not true. You can always work towards creating more choice for yourself.
yeah.
No
It may
matter
be
how
a difficult one.
difficult, no
Yeah,
matter how difficult it is, you can, if you really want to get out of something, you will create a choice out of it.
yeah, true.
So it's really about, at the end of the day, whether we are talking about sex or communication or boundaries, we are actually just talking about healthy interpersonal relationships.
True.
If we are talking about equal relationships. And
Mm.
if a relationship is not equal, it's not healthy. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not healthy, there will be so much that happens.
Yeah,
So many power dynamics, so many control issues in a relationship. And that is going to create more problems and more problems in subtle ways and not so subtle ways. So it's really up to us to look at our relationships and think, is this healthy? Is this equal?
yeah.
If not, what can I do about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. Very, very true.
Yeah.
So with this, even though we have like three more queries to discuss about this, I think, Meetu, in my opinion, we should come back to this topic because it's very important. It's a life-changing slash life-saving topic.
Yeah, true.
And there's a lot to be covered here. We're not just talking about the basic psychology or the emotional tangent or the communication or the boundary aspect of sex, but we have a lot more here.
Yeah.
So for everybody who's feeling like, oh my god, I missed one query, or I couldn't ask my question this time, please leave us your comments, guys. Please leave us your questions. Please send us via DMs, and we will have another episode of this because we already have three queries lined up for the next one. What do you want to discuss in the next episode, Neetu? Do you want to do conflicts or do you want to do communication next?
I think, Arushi, let's do communication.
Because we talked a lot about it already today, right?
Yeah,
It was
because I
like,
think everything comes down to communicating.
yeah,
So let's take that up. And I'm sure, because in my personal practice, a lot of clients have this issue. It's like, how do I communicate? Or
yeah.
what do I communicate? Or can I communicate?
Yeah,
So a lot of things revolve around that. So yeah, let's address it
yeah.
next week.
I think I have a few queries, but we're still looking forward to like the more the merrier kind of situation. And I think with this, we come to the end of this episode, sadly. Uh,
We can be back, and next week we're doing it on a Sunday.
oh yeah, I totally forgot about it. So all to all our viewers, guys, next episode will be on a Sunday, same time, same place, but it's just a different day. That's it.
Yeah.
So you have one more day, one extra day to think about your questions, think about anything related to that topic, and get back to us. And just one last question: how's the book promotion going, Neetu?
Going amazing, and I'm getting such amazing reviews for the book,
Yeah,
because when people are saying, there are so many hidden gems there.
yeah,
Yeah, um, it's really good to
yeah,
hear people getting benefit out of it.
yeah.
So yeah, it just feels like, yeah, good job.
Well, I'm halfway through the first chapter. I must let you know this. So
Wow.
anybody looking out there to sort your emotions, navigate through the difficult part, and how do you communicate? How do you do this? How do you do that? You're looking for practical applications and not just sitting in a therapy session, just talking or venting, and you really want to do something about your emotions. This is the book for you, Happy Inside Out. We'll leave a link in the description box below. And do get your copy. And let us know how you feel about it. And if you want, Meetu can definitely come up with the second part of that as well. Won't you,
Yeah,
Meetu?
definitely we can.
So I think this is it for today. And hope you guys have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, Meetu.
Thank you, Arushi, and thank you everyone for joining in. Wish you a very good evening or a good day, whichever part you're watching from. Okay. Thank you, and